A body found inside of the park where the Braves play. We have the chilling details. Plus, the long road to recovery. Hear what congressional candidate Katie Arrington is doing day to day. Then, a hooray at Chick-fil-A.
I just made sure that he was okay. We got him a fresh meal, and then he just went on his way.
The life-saving move made by a shift leader.
ABC News 4 at 6 starts now.
New tonight at 6, ABC News 4 investigates. The town of Andrews is having more problems with its police chief. The mayor announced Chief Mark Whitfield is currently on administrative leave. Whitfield's only been in office 1 year, and he's the town's third chief in 2 years.
According to the mayor's office, his suspension stems from an investigation into a complaint the mayor's office received last week. But the mayor emphasized the department is still in good hands.
We have the right folks here. They're focused, and they're working very hard to keep this community safe.
McCleary said he could not go into detail about the investigation because it's a personnel matter. But an official from SLED revealed state investigators are looking into it. McCleary hopes the issue will be resolved in the next few days.
New right now, video of a shooting scene in Charleston County. Deputies say a man is in serious condition. This shooting happened around 5:15 this evening on McCombs Road, that's in Ravenel. It happened near the intersection of Highway 17 and 162. We have reached out to deputies for additional information. We are waiting to hear back.
New information after a Somerville police officer was assaulted during a traffic stop. Police say the officer was trying to stop a car driven by this man, but was injured when Sledzione tried to take off. The officer was taken to a hospital with minor injuries, has since been released. Sledzione is charged with assault and battery, expected in bond court tomorrow morning.
A mother charged in the death of her infant is expected to be in bond court tomorrow morning. North Charleston police arrested Tamika Williams for homicide by child abuse. Police say Williams told them she thought her toddler may have accidentally dropped the infant while trying to pick him up. But police also say there were bumps on the toddler's head.
Nearly 3 years after a Somerville murder, a Dorchester County judge sentenced Jimmy Redmond to 33 years in prison. Redmond from Texas pleaded guilty to shooting and killing Lynn Harrison. The murder happened at the intersection of Bacon's Ridge Road and Trolley Road in April of 2014. Harrison's daughter, Shannon Groves, has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Redmond in civil court, who once served in the military. Deputies say the shooting was a random act. Charleston police needs your help finding this man. Police say he's wanted for attempted robbery. It happened at King's Market downtown around 8:30 this morning. If you have any information, you're asked to call the police department or Crime Stoppers at 554-1111. Georgetown police say all 5 suspects wanted in connection to a deadly shooting are now in custody. They're all charged with murder and armed robbery. The Georgetown County coroner says 29-year-old Joshua Powell was found shot last week near a KFC on High Market Street. Powell was taken to MUSC, where he later died. The University of South Carolina says it will keep its current admissions policy. The statement comes as the Trump administration cancels changes to affirmative action guidelines set by the Obama administration. The university released a statement saying, quote, race is one of many factors that may be considered in our holistic review process as we consider students within the context of their educational environment. USC also said their admissions process is in compliance with the law. And a company that sells food at Williams-Brice Stadium has applied for a license to sell alcohol, but it doesn't mean Gamecock fans can enjoy a cold one on a Saturday. Aramark Sports applied for the permanent license to sell beer, wine, and liquor on June 11th. However, the university says it only wants to sell alcohol for the upcoming Beyonce and Jay-Z concert August 21st. Usually takes about 6 to 8 weeks for the Department of Revenue to make a decision about the license. The deadline to protest the liquor license is July 31st. If approved, it would allow alcohol to be sold at Williams-Brice during non-SEC related events.
A man accused of asking a minor for sexual favors is out on bond tonight. Thomas Brown was arrested on Isle of Palms. Following his arrest, investigators discovered he was already wanted for failure to register as a sex offender in Colleton County. He was convicted of criminal sexual conduct back in 2014.
Different state organizations are working to educate high school students about human trafficking. The first Human Trafficking Youth Advocacy Summit to educate high school kids on human trafficking trafficking was held earlier today in Columbia. The event included several presentations, like a panel exploring what happens when a victim is rescued, and a presentation by the state's Human Trafficking Task Force.
We have kids from all over the state where if they get this information and use this information to start working on human trafficking and working against and combating human trafficking, the initiative, the push for awareness and education, legislators and people can't ignore that.
The summit was free to all high school students.
An update now on Representative Katie Arrington's condition. Her spokesperson says she had surgery today to fix an ankle fracture found during a CT scan. She also started physical therapy last night. Arrington was seriously hurt in a car accident Friday night. Police say Helen White was driving on the wrong side of the road. She died in that wreck. White's funeral is tomorrow. The House and Senate passed a bill that could temporarily cut the rates of SCE&G customers by nearly 15%. The bill comes in response to that failed nuclear power plant. It also has measures to protect customers from being harmed by situations like this in the future. It passed with enough margin to overcome a veto. Governor McMaster has promised to veto any bill that did not cut rates by at least 18%. This bill may also jeopardize Dominion Energy's purchase of SCANA.
In less than 6 hours, ABC News 4 will work to stop hunger in the Lowcountry. We have partnered with the Lowcountry Food Bank and Crunch Fitness for our Food for Families food drive. We're looking especially for cereal, but we'll accept all kinds of food. That food drive will be at the Harris Teeter on Long Point Road in Mount Pleasant tomorrow from 5 in the morning until 6:30 at night. After that, Crunch Fitness will host a Zumba class for everyone who donates. We hope to see you there.
Happening right now, South Carolina prisons are still on lockdown months after the Lee prison riot that triggered it in the first place. Lockdowns vary in severity, but a former SCDC director said any form of lockdown is harder on both inmates and prison staff. An end could be near. SCDC transferred 48 inmates they called problematic to private prisons out of state.
The reaction to that is it'll be more effective than administrative segregation in terms of safety for our state, and it'll be less harmful to the inmates who are shipped.
The staff can also benefit from the transfers. Osment said removing inmates who call the shots reduces the likelihood of another riot.
Police have arrested a suspected serial killer in Texas this morning. Jose Rodriguez was caught in a stolen car. It was one of the murder victims. After 28 years, Rodriguez was released from prison and out on parole. Police say cut off his GPS monitor within the last 2 weeks. They say he then went on that crime spree, killing 3.
Didn't really gain much from him in the interview. He's pretty stoic, doesn't have any admission or anything to make. But we have enough evidence to charge him today with 2 counts of capital murder.
Rodriguez has previous convictions for burglary and a sex crime against a 16-year-old. Police have not released a possible motive in those killings. Also out of Texas, a gas plant near Houston had several explosions this morning. Neighbors reported hearing blasts sounding like grenades. Authorities are going door to door, evacuating everyone within a 2-mile radius. Right now, deputies say there are no reported injuries, but there are also fires flaring up again. No word on what caused the explosions. At least 3 people have died. 2 small planes collided over the Florida Everglades. The planes crashed around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Responders forced to use airboats to reach the crash site. They say they found 2 victims in the wreckage of one plane, another outside of a plane. No word yet on what caused the crash or the number of people on board. In other headlines, MGM Resorts International, the owner of the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, is suing the victims of last October's mass shooting. The complaint says because of the post-9/11 Security Act, MGM should not be held liable for deaths and injuries in the attack.
Well, we're almost 2 months into hurricane season, but workers in the tree removal industry say they're still struggling to help prepare for the storms. They say it's the busiest time of year, but this season it could be even busier than usual.
The workers say the severe cold spells and increasingly hot temperatures this year have killed more trees, and crews are being pushed to meet the demand. According to the owner of Winthrop Tree Service, it's hard to find people to take the job.
I could use another 3 guys. The problem is finding the right guys. You know, we do very specific, difficult stuff, and working in the heat and the difficulty of this work, I just can't hire anyone.
Winthrop also said he has 5 crews working 6 days a week, but that still isn't enough to keep up with the calls coming in. After Hurricanes Matthew and Irma, he said he believes people are being more proactive to prepare for the next big storm.
A traffic alert for you to know about if you're driving through Mount Pleasant. Both north and southbound inside lanes of Highway 17 will be closed until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. They'll also be closed again starting tomorrow night at 9. That closure is between 6 Mile and Long Point roads. Crews will remove landscaping in the median. It's to prepare for the extension of the stacking turn lane on Highway 17 into 6 Mile Road.
A local girl is battling a brutal disease. What you can do to help save her life and many others.
And we have some very interesting news. See what trouble this furry creature gets itself into. 2 children involved in 2 possible shark attacks, only minutes and miles apart. It happened in New York.
Those beaches were closed as officials kept a close eye on the water. Here's ABC's Maggie Ruley.
As 2 children are left recovering today from possible shark attacks off the coast of Fire Island, New York, local beaches are now reopened. But officials warn anyone who gets in that water to be alert.
Of course, there's reason for concern. I mean, it's not something that happens every day.
The 2 attacks happened within a half mile of each other in less than an hour apart.
I saw something like next to me and I kind of felt pain. And I looked and I saw like a fin kind of.
12-year-old Lola Polina felt the bite around 11:15 a.m. Her legs seen here slashed and bloodied from the teeth marks. Only minutes later, less than 5 miles away.
It was like 1 second, it went like that, and then it just let go immediately.
13-year-old Matthew Donaldson, seen here limping towards the ambulance, emerged from the water after another possible shark attack at a different beach.
It's just crazy, like it's incredible. There's never been a shark attack on Fire Island.
The last recorded shark bite in the state of New York was like 1948, and I think there's only 10 of them that are documented, and to have 2 in one day, yeah, that's pretty unusual.
Both children are said to be okay and have non-life-threatening injuries. Well, this tooth here was
another animal attack, this time in California. A 54-year-old woman somehow survives an attack of killer bees. Officials say she was stung more than 200 times. Her son said she is expected to survive.
She was literally covered from head to toe. Her face was completely covered with bees.
First responders were eventually able to get to her after spraying the bees with a fire extinguisher. Experts say they found a large beehive in the area with 10 gallons of honeycomb.
In Texas, officers say a woman used a baby as a human shield to avoid being pepper sprayed by police. Police say the suspect doused a bank lobby with lighter fluid and gas, then demanded money. But bank employees had already called 911. The woman surrendered to police. She now faces robbery and child endangerment charges. The baby was taken to the hospital.
A tent collapse injured almost 24 soldiers in California. Officials say a U.S. Army UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter blew over the tent during a training exercise. 2 soldiers had to be airlifted to the hospital and 20 others suffered minor injuries.
Several streets in New York City were shut down this morning. Officials say a pipe at 5th Avenue and East 21st Street exploded just before 7 a.m.
The blast sent chunks of asphalt flying into the streets. It also left a large hole in the middle of 5th Avenue. Several buildings near the explosion were evacuated, and luckily no one was hurt.
A Utah train worker is on leave after a confrontation with a group of young women.
2 of the women say they went to the bathroom as a group, and that's when they say someone shook the door violently. When they returned to their seats, the employee paid them a visit. They say the employee called them porn stars and shamed them for going to the bathroom together.
You called us porn stars.
I don't care.
You should care. That's unprofessional.
The women said they went to the bathroom in a group for safety reasons, and the actions of the employee were unacceptable. Officials with the Utah Transportation Authority have seen the video and apologized to the women involved. The employee is on administrative leave while they finish an investigation.
Well, everyone has to cool down every now and then from the heat. How one 300-pound bear in California did it when we get back.
A worker found a body in a cooler where the Atlanta Braves play. Now Georgia police are investigating. They say the third-party contractor was found in a walk-in beer cooler at SunTrust Park yesterday. It happened just hours before the Braves played the Reds. Police are now working with the Braves and interviewing witnesses at the stadium.
From there, they'll decide if it is a homicide or accidental suicide. There's many avenues that it could go, but at this time, we're just gathering information.
Police say they think the man showed up to work earlier in the day for an overnight shift. They have identified the person, but are not releasing his name at this time.
So I ran over there to call Hunter, and he immediately came over here to help.
Why one man in Texas owes his life and his lunch to a fast-acting Chick-fil-A employee. Finally tonight, take a look at a couple pieces of adorable video. All parents get excited about a baby's first step. What about a baby's first plank? You can see how excited 7-month-old Cameron is when she holds that first plank. Good work, kid. Her mom, Ashley, pediatric therapist, also very excited. Hello. The therapist really loves it. Baby Cameron's been working hard to strengthen her left arm, working her core, just extra credit. And you know what you get when you pull a plank?
What do you get?
You get a bottle.
There you go.
You get some formula.
If you thought Goldilocks was picky, check out this bear.
The 300-pound bear climbed over several fences before he found the perfect pool to take a dip in. And I mean, I can't blame him. It's about 90 degrees in California where it happened. The bear cooling off for about an hour, for about a half an hour before going on with his day.
And another bear story, this time in Georgia. Bears like to eat berries, fish, and sandwiches. Watch as this bear breaks into a woman's car and steals her lunch. Carrie Watts said she left her windows down because it was hot. But the bear saw this as an opportunity to score a free meal.
I seen something out the corner of my eye, and I thought it was a homeowner's solid black cat, and I realized it was a big black bear.
Okay, how do you mess up a cat for a black bear? Hey, Watts said she tried to scare it away with the car alarm, banged some pots and pans together, but the bear just looked at her and kept eating. He finally climbed out of the car and up a tree, but only after he was done eating her whole lunch.
We're not just done yet with this bears. We're not done yet, okay? Check this out. A furry guy caught on camera playing with a trash can. This bear cub was spotted in Lake Tahoe. No word on if the little guy was able to successfully open the trash can.
I would have to think so. Like a bear that big being able to open a trash can. He looks like he's struggling with it there.
He's really going for it. Well, that's all the time we have at 6. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you back here again at 7.
Chick-fil-A is known for a lot of things, right? For its nuggets.
Chicken.
Sweet tea. Waffle fries. One employee, though, in Texas went above and beyond Arnold Palmer's. Hunter Harris worked one afternoon when his co-worker told him a customer was choking. There you see the gentleman right there in the hat. Within seconds, Harris went from team leader to lifesaver. When this woman could not dislodge whatever it was that was lodged.
Chicken.
It could have been a fry.
There are
the Heimlich maneuver was performed and the man's life was saved.
I stepped in, I took care of him, I did what I could do, and it all worked out. I just made sure that he was okay. We got him a fresh meal, and then he just went on his way.
It was his pleasure.
My favorite part of it.
It was his pleasure, right? Hunter's father happens to own the Chick-fil-A franchise and says his son's actions don't surprise him. He's very proud. Get this was not the first time Hunter has saved someone. In fact, just a few months ago, he was called to save another choking customer.
Okay, now that's not good for business. No. 2 Heimlich maneuvers within 3 months.
2 free meals to give out too afterwards.
Good publicity as well.
I would say Hunter will have his own franchise.
My favorite was after the move worked. It was like, hey, pal, good job.
I know. That was it. He walked off.
Want an ice cream?
That's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us. That's why you're marrying him, because he makes you laugh.
He does.